Okay, so welcome to a quick preview and prediction of Alexander Povetkin versus Michael Hunter. Now I'm going to start off just with the past form of both fighters, just so you know we're in the loop about how they are currently performing. Now Michael Hunter is coming off a good win against Sergey Kuzmin, obviously the highly decorated amateur who was people thought he was going to go on to do some very big things. I don't think it's quite worked out. I'm not sure how good Kuzmin will go on to be, but either way, it was a good win. I believe he dropped Kuzmin in that fight as well. Also scoring knockout victories over Fabio, and I can't remember this guy's surname, Alexander Ustinov. But although it was his first fight at heavyweight, probably most notably Martin Bakole. If you're forgetting, and I think a lot of people will forget now, because a lot of people now think of Hunter as a top 15, top 10 heavyweight, he was brought in as an opponent for Martin Bakole, to go to Bakole's backyard and for Bakole to put on a show and stop him. Obviously, Michael Hunter, being a lot better than a lot of people envisioned, beat the brakes off Bakole. It wasn't a one-sided fight by any stretch of the imagination, but in the end, he just beat Bakole up. And he stopped Bakole late in that fight. I think Bakole fucked his arm off, if I remember rightly, dislocated it. And he just put a beat down on Martin Bakole. And obviously this was just this little guy coming up from cruiser. No one really saw that coming. Now, obviously since then, I think he's established himself, in my opinion. I think just from the eye test, definitely top 10. But a lot of people are more leaning towards top 20, top 15. As we know with Alexander Povetkin, we know what we're getting. You know, he's been around forever at this point. He is really a bit of a throwback fighter himself. Obviously, his only losses come to, I believe it was Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. So, you know, as I say, we know what we're getting with Povetkin. Short, sort of stocky, brings it. I believe he's the same height as Hunter as well, but has a shorter reach. So Povetkin's best chance in this fight, if you're asking me, we saw in the Hughie Fury fight and in the Anthony Joshua fight, he now has not got the best gas tank. He does tend to gas. Anthony Joshua has got a notoriously poor gas tank and was quite heavy for that fight. Povetkin actually gassed first. So, look, if you're asking me, I don't get me wrong, I'm not ruling Povetkin out, but Michael Hunter, if there's one thing he's got, that's a bloody good work rate. Michael Hunter will throw punches and bunches, and he will just carry on coming and coming and coming. He is a relentless fighter, which at this stage, with the longer arms, the longer reach, I can see him putting a bit of a clinic on Povetkin. Just because if he can avoid Povetkin from those early rounds, Povetkin, as we know, will tire, and I can see Michael Hunter taking control of the fight. I'm not sure there'll be a stoppage. In fact, I'm pretty sure there won't be a stoppage. I might be wrong. If Hunter does win, I believe he wins it on points. As I say, going back to Alexander Povetkin, Povetkin's best chance, I think, is early. If he can put it on Hunter in the first sort of 4 to 5 rounds, that would be the best approach if I was coaching Povetkin. You know, you want to try and... He can get on the inside brilliantly. He's one of the best inside fighters at heavyweight in the last 20 years or so. So, look, as an inside fighter, Povetkin is dangerous. I mean, I know it's against a lower quality opposition, but I mean, just look what he did to David Price when he got on the inside there. He can still bang. So Hunter has to be very careful and be very defensively astute, especially early with Povetkin, because if Povetkin, when he's fresh and he's quick, he's very, very dangerous. However, Hunter is good defensively. I do like what I see with Hunter. I really, really do. A lot of people have said this before, but I'll be honest, I have to echo it. He's going to upset somebody, in my opinion. I'm not just talking about but the Bakoles of the world, or even Povetkin, if Povetkin's a slight favourite in this one. I'm talking about one of the big boys. If he gets pitted against the likes of Joshua, Wilder or Fury, I know this might sound mad, but don't be surprised if he turns him over. He has got that upsetter mentality. He will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. He has got absolutely no regard for your status or for who you are. He will just fight you. He doesn't care, where, when, on what notice. He is like that. He's that kind of fighter, and he fights that way too. He uses his range brilliantly. He has decent speed that he's brought up from cruiser. He even has good power as well. He's got all-round very good fundamentals, does nothing spectacularly, but does everything adequately, which is less than can be said for most heavyweights. Most heavyweights are either slow in some regard or have stamina. No, Hunter is just good all over. And that will take him in, I believe, this generation of heavyweights, I think it will take him quite far. Do I expect him to win a world title? It depends who he fights. He could pull an Andy Ruiz, as it were, and upset someone and get a rematch. I wouldn't be massively shocked if that happened, I have to say. Look, I don't know whether it would be one of the big boys, but look, if you told me, if Hunter wins this, and then you said Hunter versus White, I would probably pick Hunter. As I say, there's just an element of Hunter's game that he really, really just comes across as that upsetter type. You know, as I say, his will to win is unmatched, and his drive and determination in the ring is just fantastic. And he is really a great addition to the heavyweight division. Look, I'm sure Cruiser won't miss him. He could have won a world title at Cruiser quite easily, I think, particularly with the current crop of cruisers left. I'd fancy him against the likes of Gorlatsky and maybe not Bradis, but definitely Gorlatsky and Nikoli and people like that. So look, he could, and Lebedev, you know, he could win a world title at Cruiser, but instead he's taking the gamble at heavyweight, obviously where the money is. One thing that has been brought up quite a bit is Hunter's weight. I believe he come in the mid-220s. For me, that is a fine weight for Michael Hunter. A lot of people are saying that he shouldn't be carrying, you know, he's carrying, 20 odd extra pounds from down from cruiserweight. And look, I understand that. He is heavier, but he doesn't look bad. He looks to me like he's put the weight on well. He doesn't look like he's just gone and eaten pies. Yeah, he's a little bit fleshy, but look, I've seen a lot worse conditioned heavyweights than Michael Hunter. And I believe in this day and age, unless you are a Deontay Wilder who has incredible power, it is not tenable to weigh in the teens against a good size heavyweight now. You know, I know Hunter did it before, but in that Bacoli fight, there were points when he did get pushed about a little bit by Bacoli, you know. And it's, when you're fighting people with a 40, 50 pound weight difference, it's never going to give you as many advantages for yourself in terms of speed as it will give them in terms of being able to bully you. So for me, Hunter growing into the division, weighing in the mid-220s, I'm fine with that. I think if it went much higher, then I'd be concerned. If he's in the 230s, I don't want to see him in the 230s. But in the 220s, that's a good weight because, as I say, it will give him the strength in the ring that he'll need to be able to sort of stand and hold his own. And in addition to that, I think it will just give him a little bit of extra power as well. So for me, Michael Hunter takes this fight. In terms of the stages where they are at their careers, look, Hunter is on the ascendancy and Povetkin is on the descendancy, as it were. So, look, as we know, Povetkin is declining. He has been declining for a little while. The Povetkin of 6 years ago would not have gone to points with Huey Fury. Let's be real about that. So, look, we know where Povetkin's at, particularly after that AJ loss. That was a devastating loss as well. So Povetkin, as I say, he's coming right to the end of his career now. He's seems to be sort of fading a little bit. That speed that he once had isn't quite there anymore. Is the power still there? I think if he catches you clean it is, but at one point it felt like Povetkin, if he caught you with anything, it would wobble you. Now, I'm not sure he punches as hard. But as I say, he's 40 now, he is really getting on. Michael Hunter, the younger man, at only 31. So, as I say, I do expect Michael Hunter to come away with the win for this, and I believe that this will be the sort of first push that he needs to go forward in his career. So, thank you for listening, and take care.